The ARA represents BC's automotive industry, drives industry excellence, and sets standards of performance while protecting the motoring public. Look for the ARA logo, your sign of a preferred service provider. ara.bc.ca.
The Canadian Automotive Service Information Standard, better known as CASIS, or Right to Repair in a lot of people's language, is really important. It's about 10 or 11 years old now. It's an excellent cooperative agreement, and it'll stand the test of time. All the technicians in North America, or Canada specifically, need to use it.
We were in a room, and it was, as far as we know anyway, it was actually the first time that every single car manufacturer in Canada and us were together in the same room. All we were asking for was access to information on the same level that technicians and dealerships have that access to information. Without it, we would be at a very abrupt end to the aftermarket automotive service industry for sure.
The next step we need to do is have the red seal actually mean something legally with all manufacturers. That is a fight worth fighting. CASIS backs that up.
Well, in 2010, they changed the impaired driving laws in BC and came out with a lot of tougher new penalties and with tougher new impound regulations. The towers doing the impound were left with a high percentage of unclaimed vehicles, and this just was not sustainable. So they had wrote into the legislation at that time a clause that gave the superintendent of motor vehicles the power to refuse to issue a driver's license or insurance for any registered owner that leaves a vehicle unclaimed. And we did finally manage to get both parties on the phone and had a conversation and were able to resolve the issue. And then of April of 2016, it was finally implemented.
We were actively involved in creating the windshield repair program and bringing to light for ICBC some of the challenges that we face. And I really feel that they listened to what we had to say, and I must say I'm pretty pleased with the way that the system came about. You know, we haven't had much of a raise in years, like 20 years I'm talking about. And there was no way we wanted this to happen, where somebody would set the rate probably lower than what we were expecting or getting paid at the time. So we went to our local MLAs and told them this and said, listen, this is going to cost jobs. And they listened, and they squashed it. The government squashed that and told ICBC, you're not going after a single procurement model, and we're going to leave it the way it is.
There's been a lot of talk about how our industry is very lacking in training. There's no schooling for what we do. There's no places for us to go for any kind of information based on our industry, and it is a very unique industry in its own sense. It does go a lot with the body shops, mechanic shops and such, but we never had any kind of criteria to follow, and everyone was kind of blundering through doing it their own way.
As things are changing and the vehicles are changing, they're getting very technical. We need everybody to be kind of in the industry on the same page, the same level. I think it's bringing a higher comfort level to the consumer and a higher comfort level to the recycler. Everybody's talking the same, and they're getting the same quality part, and they're getting the training, and it just improves things vastly all the way around.
And he said, before I started working for Toyota, I was doing, I was running my own collision shop, and we were fixing a lot of Toyotas. And he said, it was great. It was really fun. He said, we were doing millions of dollars worth of repair a year. The customers were happy because they were driving away nice, clean, shiny cars. The dealers were happy because everything was being done on time, and they're selling parts, and we were happy because we were making money. And then he paused, and with this absolutely angelic smile on his face, he says, and we're fixing them all wrong.
ICBC and the ARA got together and started to work on a concept of a collision repair industry agreement, which we created the acronym CREA for. So the collision repair division of the ARA put together a team of people to work on the CREA review committee. And that committee put in countless hours and had the support of ARA staff, had the support of the ARA Collision Repair Division board members, and in turn, the support and help of the members around the province.
A good point that's been brought up is that, customers take it for granted that there are standards, but, without working together as the ARA, ICBC, private insurance, all these different entities, we wouldn't have a standard today that, would safely repair a vehicle. So at least having the framework and putting it all together back with the CREA agreement and to where we are today creates a safety atmosphere for the customer, brings cars back to crashworthiness is a term that we like to use, pre-accident condition, but more so you want to have a safe repair.
It was the same in the glass business. Anybody could, if you had a truck and some hand tools, away you go. We needed to come up with a program because the Glass Express program lacks oversight. People can get their certification, their Glass Express, but really it does not prove competency. Whereas our program proves competency and sets a standard for the customer, knowing that their installation is done properly and safe, and it can be followed as well. And it took a long time to put it together, but it is, I think, the gold standard in the country.
The T&R Plus, Towing Recovery Plus program, we advocated for it as the Automotive Retailers Association Towing Division. And basically what it was doing was showing a recognition between the one truck operator out on the road as opposed to a full-fledged towing company. The cost of being involved in the business and to be involved in it properly and have modern up-to-date equipment that can handle most any situation to be an all-rounded tow company deserves the recognition that the T&R Plus program brings forward.
I remember years ago, if you ask a wholesaler how many mileage, what mileage was on a vehicle, they just laugh and says, "What do you want on it?" Of course, that's all changed now. Most dealers are very upfront. They lay everything out. The vehicle history, and tell people, in some cases they tell people even before they go on a test drive.
I've been involved with the industry for about 20 years myself, so I've seen some crazy things in that time. And I think that the Vehicle Sales Authority has gone a long way towards cleaning up the image. Everybody in the province is licensed, all of the dealers are licensed, there's continuing education courses that go on, they're a government delegated body that basically oversees the Motor Dealer Act and the Consumer Protection Act and makes sure that we are representing ourselves and protecting the public in the best way possible. So, when the public wins, we all win.
I consider our job here to work on behalf of our members, and that's really what we do here. So the staff here are all experts in various different fields within the insurance industry. Some of them have had, as much Valerie, for instance, 25 years of experience. The others have got close to and over 20 years of experience. I think combined everybody has got about 115 years of experience in the industry.
I was using group benefits from, I don't even know who the supplier was anymore. And I hadn't renewed and looked at my benefits for a long time. They'd gone up in value, or price, and the program was actually being cut back slightly. And I had to really rethink about what we were getting for our value in there. And the ARA came back with a very competitive quote. And at the same time, they were really smart and they came back actually with 3 price levels. One back to where the price we were already paying, but showed us the benefits that were available. And we were able to almost double our benefit package. It was a really good change for myself as a business and helped me basically firm up my staff to make sure that they're covered and they're looked after and they're really comfortable with it.
There was a lot of people that didn't even really realize what a tow show was about. So there was a lot of enthusiasm. I think we had over 288,
I think.
In the first year for the banquet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in 2013. I mean, you get together with the local tow companies in your area, but it's not very often that you get together with people from across the province or, even beyond the lower mainland or whatnot, right? So for us to get to know each other a little bit more, there's a lot of ideas that are shared amongst towers.
We were the first in North America in the automotive industry to create this proactively, an environmental code of practice. BC Ministry of Environment said, oh, well, if the auto recyclers want this, why don't we get all the automotive industry to do this? And it took from, we developed the code of practice in 1995, and it took till 2007 or 2008 to get the regulations. And it was only from there that we were able to progress it to eventually get it province-wide.
On the scene, there's so much for us to deal with, not just walk up and go, yeah, it's a dead car. Well, we've got the people driving past us. It's this ballet that you have to choreograph that it's going to work perfectly without somebody getting hurt or killed. And when guys are telling me, hey, I don't feel safe out here. Okay, what do I need to do as their employer? It's my obligation to make them feel safe. There was a group of us on a training committee that Ken Hedrick's did an amazing job heading it up, and he's put this course together, and it was myself and a few other towers. We wrote this course. Not just somebody that sat at a desk and developed a towing program. It was developed by towers. So, with any luck, it's going to become the norm that if you're going to tow in the province of BC, you need to be certified.
The Automotive Retailers Foundation definitely stands out as one of the things that I'm most proud of. Whether they be high-performing students or underprivileged kids that might, otherwise be at a disadvantage or have barriers to entry for getting into the automotive industry. I mean, let's face it, you've got tools and school and books and all of these things that add up, and they're significant expenses for a young person. So anytime that we can remove some of those barriers to entry, encourage people to come into the automotive field, it's going to benefit all of us. So, I mean, it's an initiative I've been really passionate about, and it's something I'm very proud of.
The trade is changing from a traditional trade to a professional trade, and it's a very challenging thing to put together, but that's what we're doing. And I'm proud of the ARA for standing for that.